Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the installment of Scott Selections here for Tuesday, December 8th. Before we get into today's play of the day, quick recap of what happened yesterday. We ended up going 0-2 on the play of the day videos, but we ended up doing pretty well in the NFL, so we ended up making a little bit of profit. For the plays of the day, we ended up giving up Florida Atlantic -4 at -118 on Fox Bet. We got a great number, closed roughly -7. Florida Atlantic ended up giving up, a half-court shot to end the first half. Ended up going 11 of 21 at the foul line. Ended up only winning by 2. We got a -4. Ended up losing there. We ended up losing on the NFL with Mostert over 12.5 carries at +100 on Fox Bet. Looked pretty good in the first quarter. Had 5 carries in the first, but then game flow, which I thought would be positive, ended up turning out to be negative as the 49ers fell behind by a lot early, and we ended up not getting there. But looking at the NFL, pretty solid day there. We ended up going – in the NFL, we went 3-1. We ended up winning with the Washington football team plus the points. We won with the under, and we also won with the money line that I recommended about a week ago, right before the Steelers-Ravens game. I thought the Washington would win the game. They ended up doing so. So we ended up having a pretty nice day, but we also lost on the Niners and the Bills under. I thought that game would be a lot more low scoring, but unfortunately, the 49ers defense had no answers for Josh Allen. But either way, we ended up going 3-3 overall. Made a little bit of money because of the Washington money line being in the 200s. So overall, decent day, but definitely looking for, I'd say, more success with the play that day videos for Tuesday. But for today's play of the day, we're going to be doing 2 once again, one on college basketball and one on the NFL. And we're going to be starting off with the college basketball pick here. It's going to be on a matchup between Bryant and St. Francis, New York. And that game will be taking place on Tuesday night. Now, for this play, we're going to be looking at the total, or we're going to be looking at the total. We're going to be taking the over at 147.5 at -108 on FanDuel at time of recording of 10:45 p.m. Eastern time. A couple reasons why I like the over in this spot. First of all, Bryant, if you haven't really noticed this season, which I'm sure a lot of you have not, they have been an over machine so far this season. Bryant's played in 3 games this season, and each of these games have totaled at least 169 points, and their total in this one's at 147.5. This line's going to fly. I think this line will probably close somewhere in the 150s, maybe 152, something like that. I expect a ton of line movement on the over in this one, and I think it definitely makes sense. Now, the main reason why you have seen a lot of points for Bryant is because of the fact that they have been playing extremely quickly. They play very fast based on tempo, as Bryant's currently ranking 8th in the entire country in offensive tempo, according to KenPom rankings. Now, looking at Bryant's opponents in this one, they've also faced off against some decent defensive teams, if you really want to break it down. Because Bryant, in their first game of the season, for example, ended up playing in Syracuse. Syracuse, of course, known for their solid zone defense under Boeheim. They actually are giving up about 60 points per game this season. They ended up scoring 84, and that game totaled 169. Then they played against New Hampshire. New Hampshire is a pretty underwhelming offense as well, averaged less than 70 points per game last year. That game got into the 170s. Then they played a non-D1 team and ended up winning 138-83. So this team has been scoring a ton of points, and now they play against a St. Francis team making its season it's playing in its first game this season. And even though St. Francis, New York isn't exactly a great offensive team, and I do acknowledge that they were a better offensive team than New Hampshire in terms of points per game last year, and yet New Hampshire still got into the 170s against Bryant. Same point, St. Francis brings back a ton of experience. They bring back 4 starters from last year's team. So I do think they will have some success against this Bryant defense, which is very underwhelming. So at the end of the day, looking at both these teams, mostly because of Bryant, 147.5 in one of their games is a joke. I think Bryant should automatically be in the 150s in basically every single game they play from a total perspective. Based on the pace alone and the fact that St. Francis has a lot of experience that should be able to take advantage of this below-average defense, I think both teams could get into the mid-70s, low 80s. I think you should see this game potentially reach even 160. But I do think that 147.5 is way too low, especially at odds of -108 on FanDuel. So for that reason, that's going to be where we're going for the college basketball play. So the play that once again, here for college basketball on Tuesday, December 8th, is going to be on Bryant and St. Francis, New York. Over 147.5 is available on FanDuel at -108. A time recording of roughly 10:49 p.m. Eastern time. That's been Scott Selections. Good luck to all of you in your respective bets today. Bye, everyone.